Ball first and 10 at the 12-yard line of the Seahawks. Sean goes right, has a cutback lane, and he does. He's across the 20, the 25, 30, 35, 40. Here he goes. Are they going to catch him? 40, 35, 30. Touchdown, Seahawks! 12, they're bringing the trophy home. Your Seahawks, Super Bowl 48 champions. Holy catfish! Baldwin's going to throw back to Russell. He's got it! Touchdown! Seahawks! Are you kidding me?
Let's Hawk It Out with your hosts Kevin Porter and Rich Harris.
And we're back with another episode of Let's Hawk It Out. I'm your host, Kevin Porter, along, as always, with the returning Rich Harris. What's up, buddy? Glad to have you back.
Hey, I'm glad to be back. Not a whole lot. Went on vacation. It was an extended vacation, as you know, and everything went great. But I'm excited to be back and to contribute once again to our project here at Let's Hawk It Out. So good to be back, Kevin.
Well, we had to hold down the fort. I'm not too sure how much on your during your vacation there, if you were able to see the last two games there. We had the game against the Atlanta Falcons, then obviously last week also with the Detroit Lions. You know, we went 1-for-1 last week, or the last 2 weeks, I should say. The Lions game, I gotta say, was pretty fucking exciting, if you ask me. Yeah,
that's a good question because now that you said it, I was actually international, and I don't go international very often, and I have NFL Plus, and I thought, oh yeah, I'll probably be able to get something here and there, and I was being pretty naive about it. I wasn't aware, once you get out there, unless you're using a VPN, and I don't really do all that. I didn't look into it or anything ahead of time. I couldn't get anything with, because it's going to read my IP as being in another country. So the only thing, I couldn't even get ESPN audio. I tried everything to just try to get a live play-by-play. And the only live play-by-play I had was the play-by-play at like Game Center on a score. When you click on it and it shows you 1st and 10, Geno to Tyler Lockett for 4 yards. The little text one that comes across. And the little screen up above where it shows the little loop of the pass goes over, and the guy, you know what I'm talking? Have you ever watched that?
I've been stuck here in America, dude, and I've had the same way of tracking. Like, I'll be at a dinner or something, and it's like you can't watch the game, so you're just like, you got your phone down by your side, you're just refreshing that.
So no
freaking 5 minutes.
The play-by-play. That's the legit play-by-play, the text version. And that's what we had. And then NFL.com would have the little mini replays after scores and stuff. So we found the ways to find a way to get the most live version we could of the game. Yep, exactly. It was pretty frustrating, though. But we were paying attention and keeping track. Right. But it wasn't like we could jump up and down and scream. Because it was just like, what, did that just happen?
Yeah.
For real?
Last week, obviously, we had Geno Smith, getting the NFC Offensive Player of the Week. So coming off that Detroit game, obviously, and even going back to the Atlanta game, man, when I had my brother on here a couple weeks ago to review that game, he made the comment that, Geno Smith has an opportunity to be something very special here in Seattle. And I guess I just never really kind of thought about that because, going back into the preseason, man, like, did either one of us, we both kind of sang his praises to a point, but at the same time, there's a little bit of a, wait and see approach there. And I gotta say, I'm pleasantly surprised, Rich Harris, with Geno's performance early on, so far this season.
I'm pleasantly surprised, but I'm not surprised overall. And if you remember, I was always talking about sitting on the bench, and especially sitting on the bench with the Seahawks. It's like, if you really want to be that guy to be able to step in and be the starter when the other guy goes down, you got to be studying. And that's those Snoop lyrics that I talked about, Snoop Dogg. And I did find that song, since, by the way, it's called Snoop Bounce. I should have noted the album itself, but it's called Snoop Bounce. Yeah. And there's a spot in there where he's like, study long. And it's like, because if you're paying attention and you really believe in something, and that's what your deal is, then you're going to be perfecting your craft along the way. A lot of us fans and observers, we might be looking back and thinking, oh, this guy just sits on the bench. That's all he does. But he's got the clipboard. He's got the tablet. He's got all the ability to study the whole time if he chooses to do so. And I think Geno's been studying. I think it's very apparent right now that once he got his shot, he's taking it, and he's not just getting lucky or nothing like that. This is pure talent. That boy can thread the needle. He's got a rocket for an arm. He's got an accurate arm, and he's got conviction, composure. I mean, I could go on and on. I'm happy with Geno Smith right now. I'm not saying he's the be-all, end-all quarterback for us, but I'm pleasantly surprised as well, and he's holding down the fort. And there might be a conversation of how much we're going to pay him to keep him, whether that be that starter that transitions, a new quarterback that we may get in the draft, or just because he's holding down the fort so well that he's moving us along and keeping us competitive right now.
Why disrupt it if he's
if it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's right.
Yeah.
Leave good enough alone.
And like you said, we could definitely talk about Geno Smith, all day, Rich Harris. But I think we'd be remiss to, I guess we should probably start off real quick here. Seattle Seahawks took on the New Orleans Saints, losing, unfortunately, in the last quarter there, 32-39. We had a chance at the very end, Rich. But I gotta say, man, as much as Geno is holding down the fort and keeping our offense, looking really good, our defense, man, our defense, unfortunately, I mean, we're having moments of where it's working, but man, these offenses are just scoring on us left and right every single week.
Yeah. I have two words. Well, actually one word, and then a way to describe it as an object. The one word is porous, and the object is, the only thing I could think of was Swiss cheese. Because we got a lot of holes in that defense.
Damn.
And these running backs are just running right through it. So, if it was some porous food, it's going to have to be some Swiss cheese, because some of those holes are bigger than others, and they're being exploited.
Alvin Kamara today, dude. That dude, their backup quarterback ran 75 yards on us today or something.
And I knew Alvin Kamara always will tear us apart.
12 yards. Man.
Every time he goes against the Seahawks, he gets his way. I don't watch him play other teams because I don't watch the Saints other than when they're playing us. But I always knew, if I was hoping, he's actually on my fantasy, just how it is, and he's a good running back, but he was questionable. Alvin Kamara. And it's like, I was watching his status and it was questionable. I'm like, well, questionable will be good more today than other days. You can sit on the bench today as far as I'm concerned, but no, he's there. And when he's there and playing, he's good. Did you see the stat that came up that said when he's not in the game, they lose? They were like 0-6 without him.
Yeah.
They don't win without him.
Yeah. And they definitely won today. Glad to see that.
Absolutely.
The Seattle Seahawks served as their second win of the year, dude. So, I mean, real quick here, I just want to compare their rushing yards against our rushing yards. Dude, the New Orleans rushing went for 235 yards. Dude, Tyson Hill went 112. Alvin Kamara went 103. I mean, and Alvin Kamara his longest was only 13, dude. That's built up over a whole game, dude. I mean, that's a solid running back. And then you look over on our end, dude. I mean, we went 151, dude, with Kenneth Walker, going 69 yards there with the longest rush of the day there, but man, 88 yards altogether. But I mean, the sad news of the day obviously was Rashad Penny going down. I mean, that's it's not good news here today, Rich.
It's not, because I mean, it seems like a familiar sound when we talk about Penny getting injured and stuff, but it seemed like there was a different tone recently with him, being successful and when we were seeing him playing with not being injured and seeing what his potential was, it was great. And then here we are back again. I don't want to compare him to Jamal Adams, other than the fact that they both seem to get injured early in the season a lot, and then we can't rely on them. So again, you can never blame that on the individual. It's just unfortunate that that's what follows with them. That sucks. But we do still have Ken Walker. We have DJ Dallas. I know right. DJ's hungry. Right. I'm not sure if Travis Homer had a minor injury or something. I don't know if he was on the temp IR. I don't remember on Travis. But it definitely sucks, because Penny was one of those new energies that we had, a newfound thing that we, we're showing the rest of the world.
Yeah, he's gonna be out too, man.
I
just looked it up. He's got a fractured tibia.
There you go. So then that's a leg. You're as a running back, you're not going to see him. We're already, over a quarter of the way through the season. So that's very unfortunate for sure.
Yeah, it's pretty much, I would imagine, is season ending, unfortunately, for Rashad Penny. But I mean, you bring up Kenneth Walker, the third's name. He's a guy I've been praising the last couple of weeks, man, while he's been gone, dude. I really again, the times that he's broken through, I see a lot of potential, him coming from Michigan State. I mean, they always talk it up. Oh, Pete Carroll saw, he's a Pete Carroll running back, which, dude, I don't know, man. Like, I'm down with the Pete Carroll running back, dude. And yeah, he busted off 69 yards today. I think he got that one of the touchdowns earlier in the game there. But yeah, dude, I mean, it definitely today had its ups and downs, more downs, unfortunately, than ups. I mean, again, I'm kind of comparing it to the last couple of weeks and stuff. And like, you see our offense going out there and balling out, dude. But I mean, we need our defense to step it up a little bit more to be able to like have a full game and be able to, again, not have to rely on, the offense to score every single time. I mean, if our defense could stop the opposing team once in a while, dude, like, you saw what it had. I mean, we had a better game last week in Detroit, obviously, because we were up by 10 points, like pretty much the whole entire game, because we went tit for tat on touchdowns and field goals and whatnot for the most part. And just that this week was not our week, unfortunately.
Yeah, it was within reach at a lot of times, but it just seems like we kept getting in our own way.
Yeah.
Again, a lot of the
penalties were pretty bad, it seemed like.
The penalties. I mean, look, what are we the best in the league at?
Well, our defense is ranked like 31st, and then like we're ranked up there for most penalties in the game.
Yeah, we're best in the league. I would say we were neck and neck with the Saints for 32 and 31, or first and second in the league for whether you're looking at worst or best of something that's the worst overall. But yeah, I'd say we're probably the best in the league now at penalties. That's the worst thing in the league you want to be best at. But we were neck and neck with them, so I think by the end we kept shooting ourselves in the foot more and more and more as we were getting in our own way. Again, it was within reach the whole time. We had plenty of times to capitalize, and we shot ourselves in the foot. Penalties, false starts, this and that, rookie moves. It is what it is. Going back to that defense, we can talk about Ken Walker soon because we'll have plenty of time to talk about him. But that defense is those rookie cornerbacks I'm still very impressed with. And Tariq Woolen with his interception just all over that guy, and then has that little burst that he jumps in there and grabs that interception. And that's the third he has this year. All three of them on the team are his. And talk about something exciting. Look at Kobe Bryant in there in guys' faces all the time.
He's showing up, dude.
Exactly. Sauce Gardner, Kobe Bryant was the guy that was leading that team anyway. Sauce just had a fucking fancy name is the best way I could put it. But Kobe's badass. Yeah. So anyway, we've got our balance and we've got our chemistry and we've got our defensive problems. But that defense, really needs to find a way. It's the cohesion we talked about. It's the chemistry. They're new together, but they've got to get it together sooner than later. If we're gonna be, because as soon as the offense came out there, I watched the defense. Oh man, and the offense came out. Oh yeah, great. Oh great. So there's not that good balance yet of, even as a fan cheering, you're a little scared when the defense is out there, and you're a little excited when Geno gets the ball again.
Exactly, dude. And I know it early in the game there. I mean, those first couple quarters, like it seemed like at least we had at least like one drive in there where we did knock them off on a third down, and we forced them to punt, dude. So it's like I don't know, man. I guess like you said, dude, Swiss cheese, dude. I mean, they got a lot of holes in there, dude. So we gotta get some cheddar cheese and fill up those holes, dude, and like patch it up, man. We got to get better every single week.
We need more Al Woods, because that guy's like a block of cheddar cheese right there. You see Al Woods, big Al Woods, man. When
I saw that,
he's got two guys on him every single time. Even two big offensive linemen to take on big Al Woods defensive linemen. But
they got to plan two guys every single week, dude. I mean, it's just automatic, dude, for those coaches on the opposing side, man. So. Definitely. I wouldn't say necessarily like I'm disappointed, because obviously, we're still early in the season. We're 2-3. Let's get it back next week. If I need to double check here, were we playing the Cardinals next week? Or
for sure, I'll be there.
Oh, is that it's at home then, right?
Yes, sir.
Cool. So yeah, let's beat the fucking Cardinals next week, dude. Like, I know they always play us tough though at home. Like I said it last week, dude. Like historically, dude. Like whenever we go down to New Orleans, man, we always play. It's always a rough game, dude. It seems like we always like kind of come out on the wrong side, unfortunately, when we're playing in New Orleans. But and again, playing the Cardinals next week, those guys always play us tough at home. So it's gonna be a long season, Rich Harris. It's gonna be a long NFL season.
Yeah, it sure will. And we want to win as much as we can. I'm not the type of guy that thinks like, oh, well, if we lose, we'll have a better draft pick. The better way to think this year, I always want to win. The draft pick it's going to be what it is. Like, right. We always say it is what it is. Right. Draft picks as a Seattle fan, to me, definitely fall in that category, because I don't want us to have to try to think that we need to lose more or anything like that. That's never the mentality. It's always win first and foremost. Mm-hmm. So at the end of the day, there is, this year at least though, there's a fun thing to root for, and we've said it a few times, is watch Denver fell and watch the pick that we have for Denver go higher, because that is still our pick. So the worse that Denver does, the higher that pick goes for us. So yeah, if you want to, you can root against Russell Wilson if you want. We all have our own opinion on that, but root against Denver, and then we'll get a better pick.
And they just came out of that Thursday night game against the Colts this past week, and dude, he's getting lit up nationally right now, just for that play, dude, for that, and for the very underwhelming performance that he's had there, which apparently it's come out now that he has a partially torn lat. So I don't think they said he's seeking surgeries. He's supposed to be playing this coming Monday, but he's playing hurt right now though.
I watched that entire game, because speaking of not being able to watch shit while I was out of the country, I believe me, I was like, oh, I got this game.
Right.
I subscribed to this motherfucker, and I watched all that game, and especially because it had some value to it for me, because I'm very curious about Denver. I'm very curious about Russell Wilson.
Exactly.
We've talked about that. Yeah. And he doesn't look good. I don't think it's nothing to do with an injury. It has to do with confusion, chemistry. Like we said, it's a brand new coach, brand new quarterback, and they're all hyped, glorious. The radio station was like, oh, you guys in Seattle are dumb to let him go. It's like, ha ha.
Oh yeah, we're so fucking dumb, right?
Ha ha. You guys, we'll sit back here in the back seat and watch you drive, and then we'll comment. We're not going to backseat drive like right now. We're just going to go, all right, you make the turn, and then when you get up there about 60 miles too far and you realize we went the wrong way, we'll tell you, ha ha, you went the wrong fucking way.
Yeah, dude. I mean, it's nice for Pete Carroll and John Schneider, especially Pete Carroll. It shows that his system does work, because you got Geno Smith over here playing fucking lights out every single week, dude, like giving us a shot till the very end of the game. And I love that, dude. That's all you want, dude. I mean, that's what you want, right? You just want to have a shot every single week, dude.
Oh, he's genuine too, and you can see the genuity in his face when he's standing on the sideline, just going.
Yeah, it shows the system works, though. That was the point I was trying to make, is that it shows that the system is working, while Russell Wilson's like, oh, I'm gonna be like Tom Brady, I'm gonna be like Aaron Rodgers, I'm gonna stand in the pocket and sling it, and it's just like, do it, is best. You do your best, It's like, I know he wants to have this legacy and stuff, and it's like, dude, that's why you gotta live moment to moment, dude. Live in the moment. Don't think about tomorrow. Like, take care of it, dude. Just, I don't know. Like, he's not, I don't know, because like we talked about it before, of him not being like a genuine person or whatever, when he's like out there in the media and whatnot. And that's like what a lot of the discussion was coming out of this last game. It seems like, the mask is wearing off, the makeup is coming off or whatever. So I don't know.
It goes back to one of those
guy, but shit.
It goes back to one of those terms that my grandpa or my uncle or whoever, you're working on something, right? And you're trying to put a bolt somewhere or something, and it's not twisting in right, and you're going to start wrenching on it, and your uncle's going to go, don't force feed that, Richard. Like, you're trying to force feed it. It's not threaded right. What do you mean? You're trying to brute force it. So brute force is a different term, but force feed. I say that all the time. Don't try to force feed something because you feel like it's the right thing to do. Let things come naturally. So when you're not being natural anymore, and you're people call it posing, and I guess I understand what that means. You're not being yourself.
By that guy on like ESPN.
Oh, that guy went off a little too hard, but a lot of it was on base as well. It's just being blunt about Russell Wilson and what a lot of us may or may not know or think we know about Russell Wilson. But at the end of the day, force feed. He's force feeding who he is a lot on his outside, his ego, and he used to be very humble when he first came to the Seahawks. When you start force feeding who you think you are, then you're going to start force feeding who you think your talent as well, in my opinion. So if you stop doing the way you talk to people naturally, I feel that your actions and the way you play the game will stop being natural as well.
Right. Yeah. Force feeding is a very good term, I think, to apply.
I think he thinks he's better than he actually is anymore. Right. So you get that ego gets ahead of you. I should have completed that pass. Whereas before he would have never had to think about it consciously. He just throws that pass and it's there.
Well, I mean, we may be seeing the downfall of Russell Wilson, that's for sure, which is, I mean, again, I don't want to sit here and gloat or anything, but, hey, na.
Yeah.
Hey, goodbye. See you later, Russell Wilson. Have fun in Denver.
Yeah, and let Denver have fun with them too. I think the Walton family just bought them for like in the billions, bought the whole team, the Walmart family.
$1 million.
So everybody's all hyped and this and that, and nothing against Russell Wilson. He had his times, but they just got ahead of themselves. All of them, Russell Wilson included. Oh, this is going to be great. It's this city. We just want to be in a city that wins. I just want to win, whatever, but you could have done that here. Just stick with coach.
Yep.
And stop getting ahead of coach and want to be an MVP and they won't support me to be me and be the top. So, and it's all makes sense now because the rest of the team was always mad. And that's where that dissension in the locker room is because Russell would get these little passes and everybody else would get grilled about the game. And Russell would be like, oh, don't worry, Russell, you just go back there and sit down, go get your massage, and the rest of them would be getting grilled.
Body, Russ.
Yeah. The rest of them, and they'd make excuses for him and stuff. And the rest of the team's going, why is this guy always getting sheltered? Why is this guy always getting coddled? Why is this guy always getting protected? And believe it or not, maybe Russell Wilson wasn't asking for all that, but it's going to fall on him either way.
Exactly. Because
it is him that they're looking at. Why him? Why does he get the special treatment? Why him? The rest of us worked really hard in this game, and so we didn't know that, dude. As a fan, I didn't know that until I read the Brady Henderson thing. And then you start listening more of, oh, now it makes sense. He wanted the MVP. He wanted it to be all about me. He didn't want to be the team player. There is no INT team, so
man, team diva, more like it, dude. That's what
it turns
out
it
was,
and us fans, after we realized it, especially with the no trade clause, he could have stayed here as much as he wanted. That no trade clause is really a good thing when you're loyal. The no trade clause is supposed to be because you're loyal and you don't want to go nowhere. He turned it into, I'm going to tell you where I want to go if you want to trade me.
If I want to go.
And we never wanted to trade him. Coach would have never wanted to trade him. Why would we? He's probably going to be the best player that's ever played for this football team. I don't see there's any reason to say that anybody else, multifaceted wise, nobody else ever took us to the Super Bowl the way he did.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, he's definitely the best player that ever played for this football team. You and I can agree on that.
Well, it's like, dude, like what did he do good, dude? Like, a lot of fucking play action, bro. I mean, they ran that play action so often. I mean, and plus you had Marshawn as just a nice compliment, to that whole offense back in the day. And, he just roll out. So, I mean, they kind of got on him, in the years to come when he had that rollout and stuff. But I mean, there's other ways you can play around that stuff. I mean, like, I don't know, dude. Like you said, I think he got a little too far ahead of himself. He wanted to see, him. He probably wanted to see himself transition, to that Brady-esque, that Rodgers-esque, Breeze-esque type, stand in the pocket. I can do this, but dude, I mean, maybe he just doesn't have that talent. Maybe
I think he should have just
the type of quarterback he is.
I think and nothing against Sierra, but things would have been a little different if he would have just stayed humble and listened to Coach as his superstar, savior. Because Coach was the Seahawks were John Snyder and we can go on for Russell Wilson forever, but this is relevant. I mean,
for sure.
At the end of the day, we always talk about this as far as our around the league stuff. And
this is definitely a storyline for us this year, Rich.
It has been, and why wouldn't it be? So at the end of the day, it could be a whole different story. He might have just stuck with us and stuck with Pete Carroll as his mentor coach like it was in the beginning. If he could have kept that mindset and not wanted to become bigger than the team, he could have done all of that here naturally, in my opinion, like some of the other quarterbacks did when they stuck with the team and just with the good and the bad and kept the selflessness, or however you would describe that. I don't know the exact word. I know it's being selfish, but it's like keeping the selflessness aside and being a team player.
Right.
And somewhere along the line, he lost that. And because I don't think Coach, like you said, the system's the same. Coach thinks the same. I think Wilson at some point, like people say, put one foot out the door because he wanted it the way he wanted it, the way he envisioned himself ending and his legacy. And he wouldn't waver.
Well, he's getting what he wanted. he got what he wanted, man. He's out of town. He's down there in Denver, and
the grass is not always greener.
No, I guess that's where we got to leave that, dude. So, kind of winding down here on this episode, Rich Harris. I mean, again, we take a look at the box score here. It feels like, again, this game just got away from us, unfortunately. Any given Sunday is what they say. So,
yeah. All I gotta say on that one real quick is they started out, seemed like they were in good shape. We came back, we played better. And I always try to gauge the game off that first series. And I was like, you know what? We have plenty of opportunity to take this ball game. And we failed on a lot of those opportunities, shot ourselves in the foot, and we lost that game.
Dude,
sure.
Even the last 5 minutes of that game, dude, like if we would have just, answered the touchdown, like the previous touchdown that they got on us. I mean, again, it's these games have just been shootouts the last couple of weeks here, and unfortunately, just our defense isn't holding up yet. And hopefully, again, it's a long season. I have faith that things can be turned around. You definitely don't lose faith at this point here. So again, next week, we look towards next week, the Arizona Cardinals, Kyler Murray, all coming up to Seattle. Again, you said you're going to be there live, giving us a live report back here on Let's Talk It Out. So I'm excited for next week, Rich.
Yep, you and me both, and I'm excited to rattle the Cardinals' cage because those games mean the most. So that's all I got as well, Kevin. We'll talk next week.
All right, Rich Harris. Well, I'm Kevin Porter. We'll see you guys next time.
All right.
Can you win a game in the first quarter? No! Can you win a game in the second quarter? No! Can you win a game in the third quarter?